So, we are about to jump into a discussion about the 5 love languages. If you aren't familiar with this concept, there are basically 5 ways that we give and receive love in our lives. Generally, they're broken down into the 5 categories of acts of service, words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, and physical touch. I also sort of say there's a 6th love language, which would be the intimate physical component, which is a little bit different, but that's because I'm a sex therapist, so I see things through that lens. But what I want you to know is that understanding your love language, as well as understanding your partner's love language, is a really important thing in your relationship. It gives you some insight into them. It gives them some insight into you, and it can help to ensure that nothing is getting lost in translation in the relationship as you're trying to connect. It's also a way to make sure that you're not inadvertently missing a way that they really need to receive love, or that maybe you really need to receive love. It gives you a language to sort of talk about things and to communicate more fully about what your needs are in a relationship. If you have never taken the love languages quiz, I will put a link to it in the description of this video. I really do recommend taking a few minutes, take the quiz, see what your primary love language is, and then take note of how your other ones stack up. It is possible throughout your life they will shift a little bit, and there are some tie-ins to how we were raised, how we were brought up, some of the ways that we saw love modeled, as well as what was done kind of for us and how love was given to us in our upbringing that may show up in your adult relationships. We are going to spend the next few weeks digging into each one of these types more specifically, but I also want you to keep in mind that there is a lot of overlap between the 5 love languages. The best example I can give you is that if you enjoy gifts and acts of service and someone cooks you dinner, that could actually fall in both of those categories. And if you eat the dinner together, it could also qualify as quality time. So I want you to be really like outside of the box and think about it as this evolving process of discovering various ways to give and receive love, and feeling that you've got a really good foundation to build some things on. Now, I will remind you that with every assessment that I give you some insight into, it's just one lens that you can use to understand yourself better, to understand how you're showing up in the world, and specifically how you're showing up in your relationship. So I do hope that you will continue following along as we go through this journey over the next few weeks. And of course, you're always welcome to ask any questions that you may have. And if you hit that follow button, you'll make sure to get all of the updates.